an exhaustive list by any measure, okay, roll it out and say, Uganda is happening. You just haven't been noticing. You just haven't been paying attention. Okay? So let's talk about Google. Google has a Africa Investment Fund, okay, which they set up just a few years ago. And they said, okay, where are we going to invest? The very first investment was in Uganda, right? Safe Boda. I think you guys may have read about this in the East African or something. So all signs from the outside point of view point to the fact that Uganda is growing and that there seems to be a new stage, or at least a possibility of a new stage of economic growth. And that's why we had the Ninja JICA program, we had the Asia Africa Investment Corporation come in just earlier this year, well last year and earlier this year. They've made 50 investments into Africa. They've never made investments into Uganda, and now they're here. Rakuten, KPMG, and of course, our very own Avoda. Through that program, some of you might know ChapChap. You know, they went through the program, and recently they got an capital injection from the Nordic Impact Fund of $300,000, which we're very happy to see. You know, the impact is there, the cash is there. Now, they continue, some of these companies that have come out of Ninja JICA, the Avoda program continues to sponsor them. What we do, now down to what we do, we connect developing countries and their SMEs with global investors and customers. Okay? I think that's a very important block that has been missing, just like Teddy has been mentioning. The investors, but also the customers. Now, when you look at the startup sector, is someone else also working on the presentation? Sorry, okay. So if you look at the startup sector, here we go, in Africa, yes, Uganda positions itself still at the Tier 2 category. Okay? Tier 1, as we all know, is South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, Kenya. Uganda is Tier 2, but it is still number 7 in VC inflows from overseas in 2022. Okay? 2020, and that actually says a huge amount. It's a small amount of money, but it actually tells a great story. Why? Without sounding too political here, Rwanda was in Tier 1. Before the pandemic. It was at 100 million and so forth, okay? And when the pandemic hit, it came down to Tier 2, together with Uganda. Kenya, we asked a lot of the analysts from JICA task force who came over. They also said Kenya is great, but it is hitting a ceiling. It is very clear that capital inflows are plateauing. So where do we go? They said Uganda and Tanzania. Okay, that is the outside environment, and I'm very happy to share that with all of you. So if you look at Uganda during the pandemic, the capital inflow into the startup sector was 11.3. This year, 2022, we're not yet finished with Q1. That number is already at 35. Okay? So yes, we are bouncing back, and we're very, you know, it's on the backs of these entrepreneurs who are in this room. So let's give all of them a big hand, okay? It's just awe-inspiring and very, very, I have nothing but respect for you. So what Avoda does is, as I said, connect startups and SMEs. By SMEs, we're talking about anything $1 million and below. With global investors and clients. I'm Japanese, I'm not Chinese. A lot of people make that mistake, especially when I'm walking around Kampala. I'm Japanese. So our first destination is to connect your business with Japanese investment, but also with Japanese clients. We're in the process of becoming the local liaison, I suppose, representative for JETRO, which is the Japanese External Trade Organization. And they told me just yesterday, okay, that they just got 70 companies in Japan asking specifically about Uganda, not to invest, but to buy. Now, investment is something that can be expensive. If you get an investor, there is expenses involved. If you get a customer, that's cold revenue. Okay, so we would like to look at your products and connect you with perhaps even one of these 70 companies that are on that list. That is what we do. Now, I'm supposed to talk about securing international contracts and funding. Well, we don't have a lot of time, so I'll just focus on, I like to make things simple, the 5 C's. Okay? This is what the foreign investor or the foreign potential client is looking for in a Ugandan startup. Okay? We talked to 100 startups in Uganda, and we talked to a lot of investors in Japan and globally, and they said, these are the 5 things, and we're not quite getting it. All right? The first one is, yes, credibility. Never mind? Okay. Credibility. And people say, okay, someone mentioned university and the degree is not really giving you the... when it comes to investment and when it comes to customers, it's not your university degree, it is your sales. Okay, so sell as much as possible in your direct community and then expand. And then show the sales record. The sales record literally is your credibility. Your credibility is your creditability. In other words, the amount of credit or loans people would actually apply to you. Okay? That's where the word comes from, in fact. So raise your credibility. And how do you do that? Sales. Okay? And here at Avoda, we help you with your strategies for all of these things that I'm about to talk about. Number 1 is sales. Number 2, what we call commonality. For a lot of Japanese or even global, like even US investors and customers, Uganda is just too far. And so it's kind of like dating, right? You want a customer or you want an investor, what's the first thing you do? Or if you're dating, the first thing you do is like, oh, we try to find something in common. It's like, the more we have in common, the more this relationship will probably work, right? You want to be able to say, oh, we have so much in common. And if you can find something in common, use it, okay? Have you eaten food from their country? Have you worked with somebody that they have worked with? Research and find a commonality. And if you can find the commonality, my goodness, the investors' mentality switches from, I don't know Africa, it is too far, to, oh, it's right there. Now you get on the plane, and you get off. That's how you get to Africa. Now, the third one is calculations, what I call calculations. Accurate forecasts. Please don't give very, very exaggerated, bullish forecasts of your sales, because what that does is it knocks a lot of points off your credibility. Okay? I know you believe in your business, and please do believe in your business, but take a look at some of the other businesses and see, you know, what has been truly realistic, and tell an accurate story. Don't exaggerate, but do tell them what they need to know in the order in which they need to know, okay, in the order that they want to know. It's very often what we get here as investors. I'm an investor myself, so I know we hear the story from the least important bit, all the protocols, you know. Tell me about yourself. Oh, I'm married, I have 3 kids. No. You know, what is the thing that he needs to hear? So calculations. The third one is collaboration. Who are you working with? Okay, who are you working with? Who's supporting you? And if there's a common name, use it. Make sure you talk about it. Please make sure you talk about it first, in fact. First. Okay, that's how you date, right? The first thing you do is find something common, and you kind of dwell on that for a little bit. And then something we call continuity, okay? Okay, let's say he invests, and then what? And then what happens? Bionic and done deal, you know, they exit it, right? So are you looking for an exit? How are you looking to scale? I think we talked about scaling. What is the next chapter? Don't talk about now, talk about the next chapter. How are they going to get their money back? The funny thing here is, if you look at all the exits that have happened over the past year or so in Africa, most of it, 90%, were exits to other African investors. Okay, so if you're planning to profitably sell your company, it looks like your best bet is to sell your company within Africa. Done deal was to Kenya. Bionic was to Mauritius. There is a lot of inter-Africa investment and exits happening. So tell that to your Japanese or global investor. I'm going to sell, right? If that's what you want to do. I'm going to sell in 5 years to Kenya. I'm going to sell to within Uganda, whatever it is. Okay, give them the continuity story. And we haven't included this in the slide, but communication. I realize that we all speak English, but we're not speaking the same language sometimes. Okay, we're not speaking. I sometimes speak to a person who is looking for investment, and the first time I was here was about 6 years ago. I was very surprised because he wouldn't look me in the eyes. He wouldn't talk. He wouldn't speak up. He would be talking very quietly, and he would be like this, and he was telling me about how good his business is. You know, these little things, you know, communication is so important. And the other thing is the frequency of your information. Don't talk to them too often, but never let them go for even 2 weeks without something from your side. Okay? Please, if this is not your strong suit, find someone who is good at communication. Plant him or her in your company. Okay? I won't talk about this in too much detail. We have a blue program, which is kind of like we create the pipeline of the pipeline for people like Japheth, TIV, Hive, and so forth. Right? If you think your business is or your idea is below the $10,000 or $20,000 range, please come to Avoda Blue. Talk to us more about Avoda Blue. Or if you are in the $1 million category, you're looking to raise $1 million and above, please talk to us about Avoda Silver. There are some companies already in this program, and they're finding it, to take my word for it, very, very educational. So, as I said, we're kind of we're helping represent JICA here in Uganda as Avoda. We also represent JETRO, the Japan External Trade Organization. We want to help you find not just investors, but clients. 70 companies, like I mentioned. So Japan is noticing your growth. I know it feels hard inside, but from outside, Japan is noticing your growth. The world is noticing your growth. Use this story for your business, and let us serve by connecting you to Japan and the world. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, June. So, Teddy, all is not loom and gloom in our nation. It's actually, according to the rest of the world, a lot better than we feel it here. Of course, truth is, if we did our part and everything you mentioned, things would be even a lot better, would overtake Kenya. So, we have, unfortunately, 7 minutes of Q&A, and I'll try and be a lot stricter this time round. 2 things before we start, and this is to Damali. Remember when we were talking about why the banker said that if we employed all our SMEs, you know, I didn't tell you the reason why they said that we don't, why SMEs fail, is because we fail to do June's 5 things. The biggest majority of the businesses in Uganda are run, the word we use here is Juakali style. And I think the oil and gas sector really, yeah, it's a side hustle, first of all. Nobody really puts the time that necessary to put in. Even those who do it full time don't take the necessary steps to keep record, keep books, keep your taxes in order, check your balances. Are you working on your everything to keep a good, clean sheet of your business and ask you, so what was your turnover last year? And I says, 60% of the things he paid out he can't remember, so it doesn't show up in his books. Why? Either he was cutting corners, or he was paying off a guy, or he was doing something, or he was... So things are just not clear. And to be honest, June and his team probably will never understand what to do with you, even if you say that your turnover was, $800,000 last year. But say, prove it. Problems. And in the oil and gas sector, they are struggling to give Ugandan businesses business because of this. Yet it says, you must give these businesses to Ugandans. Okay, bring your books and we check out how you have been doing. And the guy has been operating 9 years. He has a transport business. It is run by him and his son. And if you ask him for the books, and they are very, very successful by any standards. They have 28 trucks routing the whole of East Africa, but ask him to document this for you. Where? You say, kati mutabani. And that's where the challenges begin. So I sort our house first, and I think financing can actually become a lot easier. And that number that you was talking about for Uganda easily will shoot to 100 million. Question time. Yes. Where are these microphones of mine? My people have gone to sleep.
Thank you. Thanks so much for the presentation. My name is Sandra Kiring. I'm the Chief Programs Officer with Ideation Corner. My questions are actually to June, 2 questions. First, the whole venture capital is mainly global investors in Uganda. So are you partnering with any local investors, or do you have plans to do that? Because I think that would be great for enhancing the capacity of the local investors to deal with, such. Maybe they are not doing it because they've not done it before, they're not sure, it's very risky. So do you have plans to do that? And then it would also be good because of sustainability. My second question is, the graphs that you showed, Kenya, I think, had about 305 million, and then Uganda had 11. But Uganda is more entrepreneurial than Kenya. So I'd just like to know from you, why is that? I'm hoping it's not the 5 reasons that were presented, but I'm also assuming that Kenyan young innovators are still not theirs yet. But how comes there is more global investors in Kenya than Uganda, yet we are more entrepreneurial? Thank you.
I think you can use that mic.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Yes. So regarding the first question, I think it is absolutely key that we have local partners. And so that is something that we're cultivating right now here in Uganda. I totally agree with you. And I think to the first C, credibility. For an investor in Japan to put money in to a Ugandan company, one of the highest, the most effective ways of boosting credibility, yes, it's your own sales, but it's also that a local investor invested. That in itself is already completed due diligence. Okay, so we are cultivating that network. We can't disclose too much of it, but we are cultivating that network. If you know Ugandan investors that you would like to share with us, I'm all ears, okay? And number 2, I'm not the one who coined Uganda as the most entrepreneurial country in the world, so I actually don't know. But here are some educated guesses, okay? Number 1, the number of entrepreneurs probably is not commensurate with the number of dollars in this case, unfortunately. But number 2, actually, Kenya has really branded, as a country, branded itself very, very well as the capital of East Africa's foreign direct investment and foreign, assistance capital, right? So if you look at any major foundation or major investment arm, VC. Their headquarters in East Africa probably will be in Kenya. So that branding is very important. And when, let's say I'm MasterCard Foundation, right? And I come to Uganda, very happily, we have partners, as MasterCard Foundation, we have partners here already. But let's say if we didn't, okay? Yes, you say, well, it's right next door to Kenya, where our headquarters is in Kenya, and Uganda's right next door. It's just a plane ride away or bus ride away. But no, it does not work. It does not work. That little distance is the death, will spell death to that particular possibility. You need to have it here in Uganda. So we hope that with UIA's passion to help in this sector, one of the points is to brand Uganda as a favorable capital to HQs of funds and foundations around the world. Thank you.
Answers your question, Sandra? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, very good explanation and very good shot at this. And this is something I've actually been thinking about in terms of your second question to Kenya. His first point in terms of Kenya staging itself as a global head, as Africa headquarters for a lot of these foundations, etc. Those foundations also bring in foreign talent. And foreign talent is, if you look at Kenya's in Kenya. So it is a follow-on effect. Capital follows like. If it's foreign capital, chances are it's going to go to foreigners to take advantage of an opportunity because of all of this, all of the seas that he went through. We are new to being invested. We're still learning exactly how to present our case and our startup to foreign capital, let alone local capital. So we're still getting there. So the advantage of them having foreign workers, etc.,
recording in progress.
They exist in that space and see the opportunities that are there and can easily attract that financing to actually get started. I'm not saying that that's for the ecosystem. It's actually good because even the local startups actually now start getting a bit of that financing because investors start to essentially saturate that space, and then the question becomes, who else is out there?
Okay, next question.
Yes, thank you. I'm called J. Duncan, and the team lead of Vertifarm Design. It's an urban planning and development startup. We are into the future of building the future vertical farms of Uganda in the perspective of the African context. So I wanted to ask about one of the interesting thing that is on my mind, that most of the investment that is coming at the stage of your business has done all the research and development, the idea is ready, and now it is time to prepare your books, go through all the five criteria that Ms. June was talking about, and then you're good to go. But I'm seeing less investment in the more of the R&D, because there is a recent podcast I was listening to, and they said Africans, or the African landscape, needs more of education as a new investment, not money, because you find that we need a huge in research and development from our academia level to actually developing these unicorn that are going to rise in the future. But every time I come to such meetings, I hear of investors ready to take off businesses, but I haven't heard of an investor that is willing to invest that money, the brains and the intellectual property and the untapped potentials in these Africans to dig out the hidden treasures in them. So is there any program like the Japanese are trying to build up, really to ignite this wave of now investment, instead of coming to take off business that has already done the research and development, yet our country is not doing it for us, because literally in Uganda, nowhere. You go through university, no one invests in your research and development, is your family and you. So it is really fundamental. If could there be such an opportunity, then I would be happy to hear that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Your name was Duncan? Yes. There is such an organization. It's called Avoda. So please get my card or get our colleagues' cards and let us explain more to you about that program, which is a combination. Well, it's based off of content from Japan, but also from the University of Cambridge's MBA program. So we try to invest, of course, in that sense, in the R&D or education side of things at a very subsidized cost. However, you're absolutely right. Why are there not as many investors in the R&D and education sector? Because they're investors. They need a return on that. Okay, so there is a very investors, the grant mindset. So you have entrepreneurship and then you have grantpreneurship. Grantpreneurship is something that I think Uganda is very familiar with. You chase $10,000, $20,000 grants. You have 8 people in your company, but actually 7 of them are focused on writing grant applications. Okay, that's grantpreneurship. Grantpreneurship actually can invest into R&D and education because you don't need a return back. And these 2 areas are not going to give you a return. Entrepreneurship, where you're going to go for VC and scale, hopefully globally, this one you're going to have to say, all right, I'm going to at least beat the price of inflation or the rate of inflation. I'm going to at least be giving you 10% back, 15% back. So it's a different sector, and the faster or the earlier an entrepreneur gets that this is a different game now, the better. Okay, so one side actually does need to be fixed domestically. Okay, education and R&D, that should be funded domestically as much as possible. I know it's difficult. And when it comes to investment, that is something that can be funded globally. Thank you.
Let me just add to that. All the nice things that we did during the lockdown, we used grant money. I'll just love to add to what he's saying, that grant money doesn't need to be repaid, but it needs to be utilized right. And there's 2 problems. One, people get grants and buy new cars, right, Teddy? Secondly, people get grants and they follow the grant givers, objectives only, and by the time they finish, there's no business at the end, right? So we got a grant, and we sat down with these guys and said, guys, this grant is for X. Let's do a deal. We'll use half of it for X and half for Y. We completed the grant objectives. We're still finishing up some of them. But then, guess what? In the last 3 months, we've made back the entire grant money that was invested in us in 3 months. Actually, more than the entire money that was invested in us. And by the way, this is before we even launched any of the products that I showed you. We've not launched a single one of them. Those are just clients who are testing. All the money repaid. What does that show you? There's an amount of credibility or discipline. People get grants, they buy new cars, they live a good life.
New wife.
3 wives. You get $30,000, 3 new wives, $10K each. But also on the other side, we need to also think of, there's a second problem, which is prestigious innovation. someone wants to say, we've built a TV from scratch that does this and this and this, but people have built TVs for years. Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? Why don't you use existing innovations and also build them from the customer side coming back?
What problem are you solving?
Exactly. So what we did on top of, all this is we went to the customer and said, we are building this. Would you like to buy? All that money that we've sold, we've not delivered a single product. I think we've delivered like $1,000 worth of product. The rest is pre-orders from clients that were with us in the building phase and that were interviewing and finding out, okay, you need this. How can we help you? By the time we go to market, we are not chasing for clients. And then we're also not building stuff in our lab, thinking about ideas and not actually selling, because there's a lot of people who just have prestige in having things in places like this. They have like prototypes and nice looking things. But we said, okay, besides all that, we're going to start from the customer side coming back. And then we're going to design according to the customer's needs. By the time we launch, we're just flying off the shelf. So I think that could be the best addition to your question, Duncan. R&D can be funded on one side. I think there's so many grants flying around. You have to be very disciplined with how to use them. But then on the other side, you have to have a commercial model and you have to talk to people like Avoda Group. For those 70 companies that want to buy stuff from Africa, from Uganda particularly. So I'm coming for those 70 companies, definitely, because actually on the other side, I think we've sold like $1,000 still to individuals. The rest is to companies. So there's a lot of work to be done on, rethinking how we innovate and rethinking how we go to market with products in Africa. Don't reinvent the wheel. Be disciplined with your cash and also always design from the customer side.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for your time. We are getting ready for our last session. And this time there will be 4 speakers. Thank you very much, guys. And then we shall be able to bring this to an end. And those 4, that means I will need another chair up here. Those 4 are from Kentaro, Charlene Kentaro. Please come. From Jollity Treats, Ms. Jean Nyangoma. From Sente, Alan Rwakatungu. And I will wait for the chair, then I introduce my last panelist, and the chair is here. Ms. Efrance Kamujenyi from Kuzimba Services. Thank you. So I will start as usual. Alan, you will be last. But ladies first. And I will start with the order in which I introduced. Kentaro, you have 7 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here to share our story. I don't have that little clickety thing. Thank you so much, the team at UIA, Innovation Village, and Motive for having me here. My name is Charlene Kentaro. I am the founder of Kentaro Handmade Organics. We are a company that manufactures hair and skincare products here in Uganda. And I'm just going to quickly share our story. It is one of resilience. We started from the kitchen, now we're here. In 2014, I started the brand Kentaro Organics out of a personal need for hair care products that were three things for me. That were effective, safe for me to use on my hair and my skin, and were affordable. Back in 2014, there wasn't nearly enough locally made cosmetics products that were meeting those needs. And as someone who had just graduated from the university, I was desperate to afford something that I knew would work for me, for my hair. It turns out that I wasn't the only woman looking for that solution. We've spoken a lot about statistics in Africa. I'm going to give you a few statistics from the beauty perspective. First of all, globally, the beauty industry is worth about $500 billion US. Women want to look good. Africa, it's no different. Africa is worth about $12 billion US, and it's fast growing. So women, including myself, are looking for good beauty solutions. There is a shift consciously from using products that are toxic, using products that have synthetic fillers, to using hair care products and skincare products that are plant-based, that are safe, that have been tested, that are not harmful to women, to their families, are not harmful to the environment either. So I think Teddy and I are on the right track, on some things at least. And so our mission at Kentaro Organics is to provide hair care products that are three things: that are plant-based, that are non-toxic, and that are high performance. We started in 2014 with just one product, which was a hair butter. We have since grown to an offering of 13 products, everything from shampoos to conditioners, leave-ins, braid sprays, hair oils that we make right here in Uganda with our Ugandan ingredients. So we source a range of wide raw materials, including our famous shea butter, but also cocoa butter, sim oil, avocado oils, hibiscus, and holy basil, which is locally known as mujaja. And we incorporate these products in an innovative way that it makes it easy to deliver to the customer. So we're no longer mixing, we don't have women mixing their things in the kitchen anymore. You can just go to a supermarket, pick up our products, and just, use them straight away. Like I said, we're also non-toxic, so we focus on being health conscious. We stay away from harmful synthetic chemicals that have been linked to increase in cancers, specifically in women. And we are high performance. So what we promise on the label is what we deliver. Someone spoke about research and development. A lot of our costs go to that. Through rigorous research and development, we make sure that our products work. Geoffrey also spoke about innovating from the customer's perspective, and since 2014, that's exactly what we've done. We Is this umeme that we've been crying about the whole morning? Oh, okay. Yeah, so we've since grown into a popular hair care brand. That's some of our offering. And Sorry. And these are some of our lovely clients. You can see from the three women at the bottom what we are able to do for them is for them to feel confident with their hair, to fall in love essentially with their hair, with their natural hair. So I'll speak briefly about what the last 2 years have been like, because it's been an interesting and unique journey for us from the beauty industry's perspective. The last 2 years were categorized essentially by a lockdown, which meant for many of us that we had to close our physical locations, basically focus on our online channels, and it provided for us an opportunity. Really, we looked at it, we took that challenge and ran with it as an opportunity to refine our marketing strategy. So we went from being heavily focused on retail outlets, physical retail outlets, to making sure that our customer is able to reach us directly through our website, through social media, and that really worked for us. It worked for us so well that actually 2020, even in the first lockdown, was one of our best years financially. And we also looked at it as an opportunity to rely much more on the data that we had collected. We used this data to inform our purchasing decisions, our production decisions. The last 2 years came with a real struggle in terms of supply chains and supply chain management for us. And so where we would previously have expected inputs like our packaging and some raw materials that we have to import just because they're not available locally, things that would typically take 2 weeks to ship into the country were taking 3 months plus. And so it forced us to be a lot more resilient, but also a lot more creative in terms of where we were sourcing our raw materials, where we were sourcing our packaging. And for us, it's really been an opportunity more than anything, really, to get better at what we do. And so for the future of our brand and our company, we are looking at brighter days ahead. I've learned so much from just the previous 2 panels, just to learn that there are people interested in investing in companies like ours that are profitable, that have our documentation on hand, our data on hand. And so we're trying to reach customers in every part of our country by strengthening our retail partner network. We've just signed with Rocket Health just to buffer ourselves from the situation where we are in another lockdown and our customers cannot access our products from physical locations. We are also looking forward to adding even more creative hair care solutions while supporting our local farmers. We've taken on a group of women beekeepers in Arua, and we're putting out a line of hair care products that is focused specifically on honey, which is fantastic for hair, by the way. And so that's really what we're looking towards when we look at bringing more people on board, retail partners across Uganda and beyond, but also looking for sustainable packaging. It would be fantastic if it was locally made by women. That would be, those are the opportunities that we're looking out for now. Yeah, and that's our story in brief. Thank you so much for your attention.
What was that Beyonce song? Who rules the world? Thank you very much, Kentaro. Okay, I now move to Jean. Jean, please come from Jollity Treats. Thank you.
I will actually take my presentation from here.
No problem.
Yeah. Good morning, all. Thanks for taking the time to stay, gone beyond the allotted time that this was supposed to happen. So my name's Jean Nyangoma, and I am the founder of Jollity Creations Uganda Limited. So at Jollity Creations, we promote healthy. I have 2 products, and I'll talk about both of them. Kids take to school. These are mostly things like cakes, bread, chapati, the Rolex, and all those things. What those are made of right now is refined carbohydrates, that is processed wheat and refined sugar. Those 2 substances are the biggest cause of the non-communicable diseases. So I came up with this product as a replacement. So instead of the wheat, you get to eat an organically made flour, which does exactly what wheat does. But it's healthy because it's from the sweet potato and the pumpkin. And instead of using sugar to bake, I use honey and stevia, which are both organic as well. So what I do, I package and sell the flour, and I also train people how to use them, because there are many people who are trying to eat healthy but don't know how. So I train people how to use this flour, and I also sell the snacks. In the beginning, I used to target the kids, because we know the saying, if you straighten a tree while it's still young, then it grows straight. It's easier to straighten a young tree than an old one. So my biggest clientele, before pre-pandemic in 2019 and before, were the school-going kids. So I used to pack the snacks and for them to take for break. But 2020 happened, and schools completely closed, which means I lost 100% of my clientele. So to keep my business from collapsing, I had to think on my feet and came up with a new product. This is a candle. Most of the candles that you find in the supermarkets within Uganda are made from paraffin wax. I'm sure we all didn't know that. Paraffin wax is a byproduct of petroleum. So we're burning candles in our houses made from a byproduct that is meant for fueling cars and machines. So we're inhaling all those fumes. And on top of that, 100% of that wax is imported. We don't produce it here in Uganda. So beeswax is a byproduct of the honey making process. Within the beehive, this wax actually protects the honey. So when the beekeepers are harvesting the honey, they get this wax and toss it away. So they don't even use it. And this wax is actually cleaner. It burns brighter. Like if you light it in your house will be brighter than the regular paraffin wax candle that you have. And it lasts longer because the wax is more solid. So I'm also going to throw a statistic. Last year in Uganda, there was 500,000 metric tons of honey were produced. But in my opinion, that's actually a small number. We could do better. And for every kilo of beeswax to produce this, you need to harvest 50 kilos of honey. So in effect, we are getting 10 million metric tons of honey getting tossed away. And yet we have this product in Uganda, and we are importing it from Kenya and other countries. It is cleaner, it is more efficient, burns slower, and also affordable. So I have this in the form of a decorative candle, which is scented. Maybe I'll send it around so that you can smell it, because that's kind of a trend that is coming up these days, especially with candles. And actually, just wait, I give you both. And this one is the regular candle. When you smell it, you will notice that it's actually made from honey. It still has the honey scent in it. So not only do you get the effects of a candle, you also get a good scent which improves the ambience of your house. So burning candles is healthy, eating is healthy, and these are things that we should really be investing in the future instead of depending on imports. When we have all these products here in Uganda. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. That was actually going to be my question. Does it smell like honey? You answered me earlier, so that's pretty innovative. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to hand over to Miss Efrance Namujenyi from Kuzimba Services. You can come.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, I'm Efrance Eunice Namugenyi. I'm a PhD student at MOOC, and I've been hearing people, you know, talking about papers and all that, but please look at me nicely, okay? All right. Well, yes, among those people that have suffered, I've taught in Chambogo University for the last 7 years, and I don't even own a house, yeah? So it's that painful. Anyway, so COVID comes, and we are not teaching anymore, and you have to think outside the box. Okay, so I realized that many of the students that were coming out of engineering school just sit on the roads, especially the people that are just out, you know, the bright students and all that. Yeah, so my thought was to get a platform that could actually market all these engineers from architecture, design, building, you know, civil engineering, electrical engineers, and put them on the same platform. Market them, because the thing is that to get accurate work, people who are actually young and are probably out of campus have very accurate work, and they do their work to the best. If you would consider an engineer that has been in the field for over 30 years, you know, they can just use their eyes to measure things, yeah? And not all the time that they're accurate, yeah? So I had to look for a way to market these guys that are coming out of campus. Okay, so you can ask yourself a question that, how can I get a house built? Or if I have a hardware, or I'm running a construction company, who can market me? Or if I don't have enough money to buy materials or build a house, what do I do? So Kuzimba comes in, it's an inbuilt platform that okay, of course, markets the different construction and building materials, but as well, market professionals, brings all the professionals together and put them on one platform. So you can actually have all your work done from the word go to the end, like from the surveyor who gets you the land, the structural engineer, the architectural designer to get you the plan, then the builders, the painters are all on board. Yeah, so not only that, we have an inbuilt e-wallet where you can actually save for bigger construction projects or projects that are huge and maybe you don't have enough money for them. So the system is inbuilt. You pay online, everything is done online. So after COVID, this is what I came up with. Of course, we're not working, and I had to think of a way of making money. Yes, so what is Kuzimba about? It's, as I've already explained, it's a platform where you can actually chat with different professionals and ask or inquire any questions that you have. It has an inbuilt IBM chat box, and then, of course, you can purchase any material. We have different construction companies we are working with where we can purchase building materials at affordable prices. All right, then of course the wallet, I talked about the wallet, where someone can save up. You can actually save up for your child. If, of course, we are looking at the future, at the end of the day, you want to leave your children in a safe place. Yeah, so the wallet comes in to help you save up for your children and, of course, have them stay in proper home. Then what about Kuzimba? What are the different advantages that come with Kuzimba? We save you your time. Yeah, of course we do the whole process for you. You don't have to approach the architecture alone, sorry, the designer of your plan alone, then you go to the contractor alone, then of course you go to the banks for payment. Everything is done on the platform. You can actually check it out right now, www.kuzimba.com. Whatever you need is on the platform. Okay, we save you time, we give you access to different professionals depending on the amount of money you have at the point. You look out for the person you need. Of course, for example, cement is calibrated with its different prices. So depending on the cash that you have, you look out for what you need. And you can find it. You can find a professional online that you need based on the prices or the cash that you have at the moment. Okay, so we connect all these professionals together, and then of course we give you access to these people. Of course the wallet is also there for savings. You can chat with the professionals. And of course, we have worked with people that give us these products at affordable prices. So it is, in short, easy, quick, and reliable. We also do the transportation for you. Okay, so we have different drivers that we work with based on whatever you need, and based on the amount of products that you have purchased. If it's magulu kumi that you need and you have so many materials you've purchased, I mean, we do the whole process for you. Okay, so after the COVID period, of course, we made more money after the COVID period. This platform was started just around April 2020 when people were home and many people were actually doing construction of their family houses in different locations in the villages. And so we made a tremendous growth during the COVID period because people were afraid of crowds, people were afraid of moving out into the market to see what's on the market. So when you get on the site, would actually help you do this work. Yeah, the whole process. If it's a household, you know, anything concerning construction, even if you just need a plan, even if you just need painting, even if you just need bricks, anything regarding house construction. All right, so how do we price these products? We just add a little bit of, we just add a small value of $0.5 on every product that we get from the different construction companies and the different hardwares based on our collaboration that we work with them. We get them at retail prices and then we can market them with just a 0.5. When it comes to the wallet is, you can almost not tell how much you are spending on the system because we actually purchase the materials for you. So you can't tell that as you're saving with the system, we are actually charging you. So to the clients, it looks good because we don't charge them much for saving. Then, of course, most of our profits have come from the sales that we have made to different clients. And of course, the wallet as well. The wallet is, I think, the highest selling attribute that we have on the platform. So what makes Kuzimba better than the others? It's the main thing, the major thing is that we do all the process for you. You know, if it's regarding building, we get you every person involved. All the payments are done online. If you need to save, everything is done on one platform. Yeah, so that's really the major selling bit about Kuzimba. So on the 2.1 million clients in the market that we have in building and construction, we can actually capture 200,000 of these clients. That is about 1 out of 20 of the 2.5 billion shillings that are made in building and construction, according to the report from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics. So where are we going ahead? Of course, we are looking at expanding the production processes. Right now, we are trying to make eco bricks from just construction waste and soil. And of course, they are eco-friendly. They are not so much, they don't have a lot of harm to the environment. Then, of course, we have been writing proposals on waste management and building proper drainage systems that can channel black and gray water so that it's not so much dangerous to the farms and crop farming. So we channel this water, maybe treat it, and then we can just recycle it back to your farm or garden, especially for the flat, the people who are in flat estates. Like you can see the Bugolobi flats. Yeah, so that is our team. We have a board of directors. We have Mr. Isaiah Mbuga, who is the CEO of Housing Estates in Simba Villas. Then we have Mr. Innocent Kawoya. And then we have our very own Damali Sali, who is seated right here. Then below are the team members, and each of them is specifically made. Each of them is distinct we have the designer, we have the architectural designer, we have an electrical engineer on board, then we have the IT expert who helps us market our work and put it out there, and then myself, the MD, and of course the co-founder of Kuzimba Services. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you.
All right, so finally, Alan from Sente, please come, and those of you with your questions, get ready. But I can see that June, I hope you brought enough business cards. Everybody here, I think, I'm not sure which is which. You will need, we'll need you. Well, anyway, you'll need each other. Alan.
So thanks. I don't know whether, yep, thanks a lot. So my name is Alan Rakatungu. I hope everyone is still awake after a very long session. Not saying that you guys were boring. You guys were really, really, really exciting. So yeah, so Sente is building a bank for African businesses. And you might ask, why do we need another bank after all the banks that we have? And you just start to listen to Teddy complaining about the banks, right? And here's the problem, right? The way banking was built, it was built for yesterday's economy, right? Yesterday's economy that is offline. You walk into a shop, you pay with cash. That is how it was designed. That is how it was optimized, okay? Now we're in a new world, okay? This new world, you sit in your sitting room, in your bed, you have your phone, you start to transact. So what's happening, I hope there are no bankers in here before I spill their secrets. So what's happening is these banks are literally painting, or what they putting lipstick on a pig, right? They have these old legacy systems, and they're punching them up with the mobile apps and what, and so you're struggling to use their platforms, okay? So what Sente has done as a fintech company, please note, and don't go to the regulator and say, this guy said he's a bank. No, we're a financial technology company, okay? And what we're doing, like I've mentioned, is building from the ground up, right, a platform that businesses can use to literally bank, okay? Again, I'll go and give you some more semantics. The problem with old banking, it is something you did. Now they are making it something you do on your app. The future of banking, you don't even know it's there. You're just doing your business. Wekesa was complaining about taxes. You import something, it arrives, all your taxes are paid, all your suppliers are paid, everything is done for you in the background. You're at your private lounge, chilling, right? That's what the future looks like, okay? Yeah, so this I've just said, you know, today's banking, hard work, busy work, all that stuff. You're trying to open an account, you already have an account there, they're asking you to open another account. Then there is a paperwork, like up to here and there, okay? Right? So that is Sente. We can do, let me whisper it, we can do literally everything your bank can do for you. We can even give you Visa cards, all right? But on top of that, all the goodness of today's society, everything is digital, everything is online, everything is automated, okay? And, okay, market opportunity is huge. And by the way, we have customers. Modern companies already love us. So you'll find that on this, so you'll find that companies like Jumia, Glovo, M-Kopa, Knight Frank, QAP, are already using us today, right? Because they don't want to be running around their bank. What, sign here, sign there. I want a Visa card to pay for my online services. Please call all your directors, all your lawyers, your grandmother, your whatever. No, 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 no. That's why they love us, okay? Okay, this one I added it because but even NSSF is now a client. All right? And we're poised for very strong growth. coming forward, right? We are in the final stages of getting our licensing from the central bank for payment processing, okay? We have strong partnership. Like I said, you see the way Ugandans call it an ATM card. Even Center is able to give you an ATM card, all right? Both physical, I'm trying to pull it from my pocket. So both physical and virtual, okay? So that's where we are right now. Sorry. I think that's actually the end. Yeah, so this is the usual stuff, why we're better than everybody else. Yeah, we are the platform for the modern economy, okay? If you want to go to doing old stuff, fighting with paperwork, what, you can stay with your other guys. But if you want to move into the future, we're your guys, okay? And this is the team, myself and Francis, fully Ugandan, from, usually they'll say Kashari, but fully Ugandan, and we're building this. And just to conclude, right, fintech is hot, right? Or you have to just see the billboards as you travel around Kampala, okay? And there's a reason it's hot. There is a war for the future of finance, okay? Everybody in finance knows that we're moving from one era to another, okay? So we're moving into an era where finance is going full digital, full online, all right? And so there's a lot of money in that space. And so to the people from Uganda Investment Authority, all right, that is why you have to support, I'm trying to whisper again, us locals, okay? Because all this money that is coming in from abroad. So if we do not invest as Ugandans, if we do not participate as Ugandan, we shall be complaining, oh, these things, right? They're owned by, I was going to say Japanese, but they're owned by Japanese, they're owned by Americans, because we never participated. So we must participate in this cycle if we're going to own the future of finance. And how will we know that we're participating? If we are worried about sanctions. Thank you very much.
Very good. So, as we draw to the end, I will take 5 minutes of questions so that we can end this. If you have any questions for these 4 very lovely young Ugandan entrepreneurs, feel free to ask. Yes, there's a question from Teddy here and then one at the back.
All right, thank you. So this is directed at the ladies who are selling physical products. And I'm asking this question only because I want to make sure that we are all heard. For those of us that are making value-added products, what is the number one thing that you struggle with in actually getting, or actually, what are the main things you struggle with in getting your products to you know, from ideation to market?
I had forgotten that I actually have a mic. Yeah. Where to start? I'll just mention a few. Number one, he already mentioned it, is the Ugandan systems. The problems that he went through are the exact same problems that I went through and I'm still going through till now. The documentation that you need to set up a business. So, you know, I could have been operating this juakali, like he said, which is what most people choose to do because they get frustrated along the way. Yeah? But I decided, let me make this formal because I want to get investors. That's what they tell us. If you're not formal, if you don't pay taxes, you won't get investors. But first of all, the cost of getting those documents, yeah? The registration license, all those KCCA licenses and everything, just that alone is enough to close a business of someone who isn't really making a lot of profit, even before you start making money, yeah? That is the one thing. Then second, getting the product. Yeah, because I work with many different farmers around Uganda. Yeah, so when someone makes an order, let's say for a bulk purchase, and I need to get the farmer to deliver it to me and then to deliver it to the final client, a million roadblocks along the way. Yeah, first the farmers themselves, should I say the first problem, because they are not trained very well to handle such products, because people who are selling to expect a certain quality because of what our brand is and what we're trying to promote. So the farmers themselves work behind the scenes. Yeah, so by the time you get the product in the first place, the quality is not even the quality that you expected in the first place. Yeah, so you spend a lot of money trying to get a product, and because along the way the people who are supposed to be putting those checks for the farmers to have the product are not doing their job, and you end up with something kind of substandard which you can't sell, which is a total loss. That is one. Then two, packaging. She also mentioned it. Yeah? Yeah, so we are promoting, you know, the president talked about import substitution and everything. So everything that I make is 100% produced in Uganda. But the packaging that I need for this product, I have to import it. Because the people who make the packaging aren't putting us SMEs in, they don't consider us when they're producing. Because let's say you go to maybe Riley Packaging or something and you ask for a small order, they'll tell you, we can only send minimum of 1,000 or minimum of 1 million, and you can't afford that. So the Chinese are the ones who are selling us 100 packs or 200 packs. So we have to spend more money exporting packaging to sell a local product that was made in Uganda. Maybe I'll stop on that because I can go on all day. So I'll hand it over to Charlene to continue.
I suspect we have very similar pain points when it comes to value addition for physical products. Like Jean has mentioned, one of the things and trying to make it easy to deliver to the customer. So for example, rather than you just putting hibiscus on your hair, I've made it so that you have a shampoo that gives you the benefits of hibiscus in a form that's easy for you to use, right? But that, by nature of being a third world country or operating in Uganda, means that some of the inputs that we use just are not available locally. So things like the detergent bases, for example, or the soap bases, you find that you have to import from whether it's China or India or the US, and we all know what the tax regime is looking like for importation lately. And I think the motive behind it was to favor local businesses, but I think it could be refined further because in a sense it's still hurting us. And then when it comes to, again, raw materials that we're sourcing, we struggle with things like sustainability, consistency in the quality, and those are things that are too big for us as, small to medium businesses to handle. I cannot now be on the ground in Arua teaching women how to farm honey and give it to me in a consistent quality, and then also do the same for shea butter and cocoa butter. It would be great if people like UIA could position themselves perhaps with UNBS and do the trainings that need to be done so that we who are working with these raw materials do not have to suffer that pain point. And then again, the costs of just trying to do things right. For whatever reason, of course, one of them being investor friendly, after 10 years or so. So when you look at just things like getting the Q mark or the S mark alone, when you look at things like trademarking, if you have a unique idea and you want to trademark it, for example, wow, the costs of that are crazy for someone who's just, has been doing business, 5-6 years. You're not even profitable yet, but you have a unique product that you want to trademark or suddenly you have interest from Rwanda or Nairobi and you need to put your products across the border and UNBS, says, stop, why don't you have the Q mark or whatever. So things like that for us have been really painful as a business.
Thank you. Next question is one at the back. The lady put her hand up first.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Lynette Mashami. I'm from Itoto Cosmetics. Itoto Cosmetics is a women-led, women-founded cosmetic company. We produce skincare products made out of cow ghee. We add value to our local Ankole cow ghee. So mine is not a question. I'm supplementing on what they said. Part of the challenges we meet as SMEs is marketing Uganda ourselves. Ugandans are not open to buying Ugandan-made products. They feel more comfortable purchasing these other products that they have, say, been used to, products that are imported. They would rather buy a product that is imported and more expensive than buying an organic Ugandan product. So when it comes to Itoto, I mentioned we make skincare products out of cow ghee. We have made a challenge with people always questioning the cow ghee scent in our products. Our products are totally descented, but still people are biased. They're biased about the scent, even before trying, and they are still biased about the fact that it is a Ugandan product. People would rather go out and buy, say, a L'Oreal instead of an Itoto cream, of which Itoto is more of a moisturizing cream than maybe the L'Oreal. And still on the imports, Ms. Kentaro mentioned the cost of taxes when importing these raw materials. Now, some of us are not yet at the level of importing these raw materials ourselves. We buy from people selling them here. So these prices are ridiculous and they are fluctuating. These prices are fluctuating, and remember, we have already established a price for our products. So are we also going to always fluctuate the product of our prices? And yet we still want to maintain a quality product. We still want to give them the best, but this, somehow is a challenge. Then she mentioned the standardization. Coming back to UNBS, when you are an SME, the cost of getting a Q mark, the process of getting a Q mark, this is very tiresome, this is very challenging. And still coming back to Itoto Cosmetics, now we met a challenge whereby UNBS didn't have ghee standards. And some of our products were not standardized because UNBS hasn't come up with ghee standards. Yet ghee has been a skin moisturizer since time immemorial. People from the Ankole culture and part of the central and even the north understand this very well. Our forefathers used this as a skin moisturizer. They called it the butahe. Now here we are adding value to our cow ghee for it not to just be consumed as food, but also as a skincare product. We look at also getting into the hairline for it to also be used into hair products. And this is adding value to our Ankole cow ghee for it not to just be eaten and sold at low prices or something. And for it to always, there is always a lot of cow ghee back there in the village that is not really used. For example, we purchase our cow ghee from a women association in Isinjiro called Chikagati Friends Forever Farmers Association. These women always had excess ghee before we started purchasing from them. Well, it is good that we purchase from them because they also give us quality ghee. It is not counterfeited, like the one on the market where you buy and you find their bananas and all. But now these women always had excess cow ghee. Now we're adding value to their cow ghee. We're bringing a good and rich product onto the market while also adding revenue into these women's pockets. But we meet these challenges. Then there is the taxation on the final product. We want to be visible, we want to be on the shelves. But when you think of getting onto the shelves, when you think of stepping into a supermarket, the criteria you have to follow. You have now, recently we hadn't factored in the LED tax. So now you have to go back onto the drawing board and add that 10% onto your price margin. So that is going to fluctuate our price. And probably, once this hits the shelf, it is going to compete with cheaper products that are synthetic. And a client will always come and pick the synthetic product that is cheaper and walk away with that. Someone will come and pick maybe, I do not know what lotion, of which when you pour, it is running, compared to an Itoto lotion that has a thick viscosity. Someone will come and pick a hair product that is, it's okay, instead of picking a Kentaro conditioner because of the price. We would also love to compete with them price-wise, but because of these other factors, we cannot. Thank you so much.
When you find time, you see me, I have some answers to your questions, to your challenges. Not the ones government related, the ones to your business. I do coffee and in value addition. All your challenges, I've faced them 10 times over and I've found solutions, so I'll help you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Douglas Smith. I am the founder and CEO of Sportrise, Uganda's first football manufacturing company. We are an African-inspired social enterprise company. Our latest product is Lulu.
I was about to ask, do you always move everywhere with that ball?
Sure.
Okay, just checking. Go on.
Lulu is our latest product. It is a fusion of contemporary African art and soccer, and where African heritage meets the world's most loved sport, soccer. So my question relates with what he was saying. I wanted to ask Kentaro how she has been in position to sell her products in a crowded market to to our customers here who are so much interested in imported products. Thank you.
Good luck.
I was scared for a minute because I know nothing about football. I was like, oh God. So how we've been able to stand out in a crowded market, I think maybe you're asking for a crash course in marketing, which I cannot do in 5 minutes, let alone an hour. But I think it was very important for us from the beginning to be a Ugandan-owned company, making Ugandan products that look and feel and give an international experience. But by that, what I mean is we wanted to stand out from previous local cosmetics. So we thought about things like our message, for example, our packaging, a lot of younger entrepreneurs tend to miss is it's not just it can't be smoke and mirrors. At the end of the day, you have to have a product that people want and that people will want again and again. And that mostly comes down to the quality of what you're delivering. You also have to figure out whether there is a market for what you're selling. Now for us in cosmetics, I think it's a fairly easy question to answer because women will always want and need beauty products, so much so that even a pandemic could not stop them. If anything, it heightened the need to look good for yourself every day when you're, in your house. And so while I don't know much about, the football or the industry that you're going into, you just need to ask yourself whether there is a market for what you are putting out and whether your product is is a quality product that people will want and want again and again. Yeah.
Thank you. I think there was one last one, and then we can close this. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm by the names of Msinguzi Pius Victor, and I work with a tourism company. It's called Pelican Tours and Travel. It's located at Equatorial Mall. I work as a marketeer and for sale, and I work as a sales and a marketeer. So I thank all of us for attending here, for coming. And my question is, it goes to the panelist. It's general. It's about, okay, most of us Ugandans, we do startup companies and they're owned by us. But with time, when time comes, without considering what Ms. Jean said and other aspects of running a company, it's like maybe you do run your company for 2 years, then you find that it's not working out. And most of times, our companies are chained into the government companies. You find that you've done a hotel and it has failed out, the government will take it away from you or any other investor. Maybe a school, it can be taken away by the government because it's happening. Like missionaries build schools like Gayaza, but right now they are run by the government. So if you have a company, you have your company and it fails out. Okay, for us right now we are young people. And what is the strategy that you've laid that you will not go into that chaos, that you find yourself failing out to run your company, like in the system of governance that we have, because we are so challenged. Ugandan products, all best companies are not, because you find products, perfumes you order from abroad, many things. And also, to the tourism, basing on the tourism sector, Uganda is #1 foreign, revenue investor to Kenya, compared to all other African countries. You can bear with me. Okay, in all the products that we do have in Uganda, we've not done enough awareness to give it to other countries. So what is your strategy as you, the panelists? Thank you so much.
Okay, I think the second question is not a question for the panelists. That's the Uganda Tourism Board matter. The first one, though, I think in a nutshell what he was trying to ask is what strategies have you put in place to not shut down? Answer at will.
Okay, I'll go first. First, before you even think about shutting down, what we as Ugandan entrepreneurs make majority before even starting